Well, Nancy, you recently gave a commencement address to a graduating class of 11 girls at Trinitas School in Pensacola. And I know that you've done a bunch of counseling of NSA girls and young unmarried women here in Moscow. What are some of the basic things that you find yourself having to urge or admonish or encourage or teach young unmarried women?
Right. Well, one of the first things I encourage them to think about is that marriage is a means, not an end. And so they are not sort of half Christians or half women because they're not married yet. And I encourage them to attend to the domestic arts, to be learning, growing, pursuing their education, to flourish wherever they are, sort of a bloom where you're planted sort of attitude, but also to think about the kind of things that will be difficult once they are married with children, have a lot of responsibilities. So to really make the most of this time, whether it is conferences, Bible study, growing, learning, etc., to make the most of it. And then I say to make themselves indispensable to their community, whether it's their family, their church, the school they just graduated from, but to serve and to look for ways. Women are called to be domestic, home-centered, to be hospitable, to be helping the people with needs in the community. And there are always plenty of needs, so I just encourage them to find their niche and not to wait around or to sort of be in a ghetto where they're not useful to the community until they're married, but because there's just so much that needs to be done. So that's what I encourage them to do, not to jump to conclusions and think they have to have their life plan or big plans right now, but just to enjoy their family, enjoy their community, and be productive and fruitful in it.
How is it do you find yourself having to counsel them to prepare for marriage in this way without becoming sort of marriage nerds or consumed with marriage?
Right.
How can they find that balance?
Well, I remember talking to your mom, my future mother-in-law, before I knew that's what she was going to be, and just saying, what am I supposed to be doing? Should I be preparing for the mission field, or what should I be doing? And she said, well, you shouldn't rule out marriage. I said, well, I'm not ruling it out, but I don't see him right now. And I didn't want to be just treading water, waiting. Mm-hmm. So I remember deciding I wanted to be going somewhere spiritually speaking, so that when God brought the right person along, he would be sort of joining. We just sort of come together. I wouldn't just be sitting around treading
Standing
water,
around,
waiting, where is he? But I'd have real spiritual direction, be growing and that way, so that it would happen naturally.
And when you when a woman is making the best of the time, the most of the opportunity, and she's not just marking time, how do you talk to them about being willing to be interrupted? You have a few things about that. When the guy comes along, the chances are she's growing spiritually, but there may be certain details in that spiritual journey that he messes up.
All right. Well, one of those would be future plans.
Right.
Let's say she has future plans, but he has other plans. So just certainly a willingness to be interrupted, and that's a given. I think a lot of unmarried college age graduates, whatever, young women and older, feel guilty that they want to be married. And I say, it's a good and godly desire. Thank God for it. Don't feel guilty about it. Tug on his sleeve. Lord, I'm ready. It's the time. It's now.
Tug on the Lord's sleeve.
Not that. Well, I hadn't thought of that. It might be a good idea.
Maybe somebody needs to tug on the young man's sleeve.
Say, tug on the Lord's sleeve and remind him, but don't feel guilty that you want to get married. It's a good thing to want to be married. But unmarried women feel a tremendous amount of pressure to have a good answer when people say, well, what are you going to do now? And they feel mighty burdened to have a real impressive answer, instead of just saying something like, well, I'm just planning to do the next thing. I'm not sure what that is yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Or just I know our daughter, Rachel, decided she was going to tell people she was going to become a shepherd. just because she didn't have any really impressive sounding plans. But she stayed very busy, and she did the things, we encouraged her to do the things she was gifted at, she enjoyed doing, catering and cooking and decorating, all those things that she loved. We just gave her the means to do it and said, enjoy yourself, and she did.
Very good. Thank you.